I have spent most of my childhood during wartime. And again, when I'm an adult and working in this field. For example, I remember in 2003 when the invasion happened of 2003, taking down Saddam Hussein. I was at elementary school, and when the battle was happening, me and the other kids in the neighborhood, there were a lot of bullets, a lot of explosive materials around, and basically we grew up playing with explosives. So I think I'm kind of used to it, and it feels home for me.
My friend, that is a very profound way to fade out of that, to talk about growing up playing with bombs. Because that's, I mean, there is a part of me that I have to sit here and say that as an American, I feel like I have to take some sense of strange ownership of the fact that we've participating in the destruction of your country, and it's not okay. You know, I know that Iraq has certainly had its own wars and conflicts, and you know, the Iraq-Iran war, and you know, all those things have existed, right? People have been fighting wars for thousands of years, right? That's not new. But you know, I know that in the past, 17 years, really, that a significant amount of the influence and destruction that has occurred, there's been a lot of involvement with the U.S. that has done that. And I've seen the airstrikes and the things that have been left behind. And so, you know, I want you to know that I don't think that it's okay, that the Iraqi people deserve better, that no child should have to grow up like playing with bombs shouldn't be normal. Like that just shouldn't be normal. You know, I remember seeing kids like crawling on broken, bombed out cars and stuff like that. And so, you know, I know that Iraqi people do a very good job moving through that space. You know, you guys have a resilience that is beyond anything that I understand sometimes. But, you know, in order to honor you, I have to say, you know, as an American, like, it's not okay. And our country has not been okay for its participation and its lack of rebuilding. And so you need to know that, because I just think that the Kurds and the Iraqis, y'all just deserve better.
Well, the American taxpayers got screwed as well. I just want to say this to Halan. I mean, you weren't old enough to remember the Iran-Iraq war, but it was a brutal, grinding war that went on forever. And one of my most distinct images was at less than a year later, going to Baghdad and seeing all the baby strollers. Everybody was back. There was no war. People were celebrating life itself. And then suddenly it all returns. And that was the wrong that was committed. The Iraqi people did not deserve what was visited upon them. And, the arms manufacturers, everybody talks about how brutal it's become. It's pushed there because arms are available. Yes, Kalashnikov invented the AK-47 that made 12-year-olds into fighters and made child soldiers a reality. But it's these massive weapons that are sold all the time to governments and pushed by the international arms dealers. And the United States is the leading one. Our companies are the ones who sell all of this stuff, and that enables war. That's what makes it so deadly for civilians. And make no mistake, when there's a war, it's the civilians that pay the price.
Very true. When there's any war anywhere, the only people who suffer are civilians and no one else. It's a big lie when politicians or big companies or whoever like abroad says, oh, this war has affected us in so many ways. Maybe it has had like side effects to your personal or company benefits, but the suffer here for people or for civilians everywhere else in this world. Suffer is not just losing money or not making any money. Suffer is not being able to live a life that you deserve. Suffer is not living in a peaceful life that you don't like. Now I can distinguish between, like, if I hear a gunfire outside my home, across the window right now, I can tell if it's an AK-47, if it's an M4, if it's an M16, or if there's a bombardment, because of all the experience, because of what we have been through. I can tell if it's an artillery or if it's a mortar. Or I should not know that.
I agree. You shouldn't know that. You shouldn't know that. And I think that's the thing is that, you know, there's a comic that I like where the young boy in the comic, he tells his favorite stuffed tiger, he's all dressed up in his military uniforms, and his stuffed tiger says to him, he says, why do we always play war games? Why don't we play peace games? And the kid responds, not enough examples.